This is awkward.
I think we'll start
Probably
at 5. Oh my gosh.
The awesomest thing ever.
Hey, everybody.
We should have a bearskin rug.
Yeah.
I meant slouch like I am. Like just,
I can't get that low.
what are you trying to say?
That's an impossible slouch. You're short.
Hey!
Hey, welcome back to our channel. Unless, of course, you're new, and then
You
I'd
probably
like to
don't
welcome you to our channel.
You probably don't want to watch this video if you're brand new.
Really? This would be a quick way to get up to speed on who we are and what we're about and how our family got to be. So if you're new, go ahead and watch this.
Alright, welcome.
We're going to cover a lot of ground.
Yes, we are.
We prompted you guys on Instagram that we were going to do a Q&A. Nothing's off limits, and we mean nothing.
And we're going to go as fast as we possibly can because there's like 267 questions.
Yeah, so we're just going to rapid fire answer these.
Samantha, when's the next baby?
That answers like 100 of 270
That's true.
something questions.
Rachel?
We haven't discussed any of these, by the way.
No, we have not.
Let's answer on, let's say, in how many years we picture having our next baby on 3. 1, 2, 3. 3.
Never.
Never? Are you
Question
being
before, but-
serious?
Yeah.
About never?
Yeah.
That's cute. Wait, whoa, we're not going to elaborate on that?
So
Maybe
you-
not on camera?
You say 3 years.
In 3 years, I think we will have another baby.
Definitely not before 3 years. I can guarantee that.
Okay, why? Why don't you want to have another baby?
Because infancy is really hard.
That's true.
We already have 2 children, and Rachel already feels like a bad mom sometimes because she spends too much time with one of the babies and ignores the other one. I mean, doesn't ignore, but obviously she has to spend time with the other baby.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So now you would have to share your love between 3.
Yeah, your love doesn't divide, it multiplies.
I know, I've heard that. I think that's on a plaque somewhere.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay.
What? I mean, is it hard? Is it hard for you? Like, do you not want to have children just because sometimes I feel like a bad mom?
No, I've always pictured myself having 2 children. Not necessarily a boy and a girl.
That's not true. Before we got married, we did like
I think-
premarital counseling, and we both said 3.
Yeah. But the problem is we have 2 embryos frozen. If we did another transfer, it definitely would not be twins again. It would only be 1 at a time.
Yeah, we're
So then we
definitely
stop
not
at-
doing 2 at a time
So
again.
then we stop at 3 and just have 1 out there?
No. So
So we'll have 4.
I'm trying to prepare myself for one or both of our embryos that we have not being viable. If you take non-genetically tested embryos, usually about 50% of them, if you do genetically test them, are not normal. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But I definitely can already picture our family with another baby. And I think it would be a really neat experience that I've missed out on, to have one infant to focus on. I just think, I don't know, I could be a lot more like attached and not have to focus so much on them being slightly independent, because I can't always be there for the 2. It would be nice to just be, I don't know, it would be nice to be submerged in one infant.
Maybe in 3 years I'll forget about Lyndall's witching hour. I'll forget about the lack of sleep. I'll forget about how hard it is to raise kids.
Okay.
I'll forget about how, hard it is to travel.
The first
That's
6
the
months
thing.
or so are difficult, but
Like,
the lack of sleep on your part was only the first, and it wasn't even, you had to give them 1 bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, it was over by the time they were 4 months. You haven't really had to do anything at night for the last 5 months. So yeah, it's real.
So yeah.
She's up in this cubby.
Is she? We have a lot.
We'll have to, apparently we're going to have to discuss that one.
Yes.
Good thing we got that one out of the way right off the
That was
bat.
a lot of the questions.
Yeah.
Pink. How hard is it to manage twins? Would you prefer to have 2 kids, 1, or 1 at a time?
Yeah, so that's, I think we kind of just answered that.
What?
I wouldn't say that I have a preference, because I don't know what it's like to just have 1. But I thoroughly enjoy watching them grow up at the same time, being 2 completely different babies and having different everything, milestones. preferences.
As much as I just complained about how hard it is,
It's so awesome.
it's so fun to watch them interact and play with each other and keep each other occupied.
Yeah, they're super fun.
I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
No, definitely not.
I can't
Moving
even-
forward, one at a time.
I can't even picture it. Alyssa,
We'll put one embryo in.
what
and
has been
it'll split.
what has been the easiest part of having twins? What's been the hardest?
The easiest? Nothing. Nothing was easy. What was easier? What would be easier having twins? I mean, maybe just now they're getting to where they play with each other, but they really just like steal each other's toys and pull each other down.
Yeah,
So
so
it's harder.
Maybe when they get a little bit older, they'll at least have each other to entertain each other.
Yeah, definitely. The hardest part at night when both of them are crying. That's
Yeah.
definitely the hardest part.
Anytime when both of them are crying.
Anytime, but especially at 3 a.m. I remember when they first started, like, their night wakings increased from, like, newborn phase, where it's, I don't know, they don't really wake each other up, to where they were, like, hitting their 4-month sleep regression, and Bear woke Lendl up, and I was ping-ponging back and forth for over an hour in there, from 3 to, like, 4:30 or something.
Yeah.
And you slept through the entire thing. Oh, that was rough.
What about breastfeeding twins? Have you really not? You don't think that that's the hardest?
Yes, sorry. Breastfeeding is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So, and there's phases of it that are harder. Like, newborn was the hardest. But it's pretty difficult right now.
What do you value about living on the lake versus right near the beach? That's from Carly.
Fresh water that you can actually swim in.
Mm-hmm. Don't have to worry about sharks or alligators.
Yep. Yep, we can let Rusty swim without him getting eaten by an alligator.
It's really easy to fish here.
How has your hair changed from before, during, and after the twins?
From Angela.
My hair was like, it had a really nice natural curl and was extremely thick. 3 months postpartum, I started losing a ton of it. From 3 to 6 months, I lost a ton, and the texture changed to where I couldn't wear it curly. And then now I have all of the regrowth happening. You can see it up in here. Hence why I have bangs. And I haven't tried to wear it naturally curly since, I don't know, 6 months postpartum. But it's coming back into its natural thickness again.
Jin, how do you find romantic time? Especially
We don't.
living at your parents'. I mean, living with your parents hasn't really affected us whatsoever.
No, because we have our
We just-
entire downstairs area.
It's a totally separate house, us from them.
Yeah, so that there's really no, if you don't want to overlap, you don't have to overlap.
Right.
So that doesn't affect anything, but finding time, it's really hard.
Now that they sleep really well from like 7:30, it's a little bit easier.
That's true. For the first 3 months, their schedule's really erratic, and then even from like 3 to 6 months, they don't really settle into like the earlier bedtime that a lot of infants have. So they're going to bed at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and you're going to bed immediately after them. So now they have, I mean, they sleep through the night mostly, and they go to bed early, so you have a lot more evening time to spend together.
So we've only done like 10 questions and we're already at 9 minutes. We need to hurry up.
Okay.
Amanda, asking for IVF advice. Quit.
Stay positive.
You're going to want to quit when you're getting the injections, but don't.
Yep, the progesterone injections, if you do have to do those, are horrible, and they're really painful, and that's the point I wanted to quit, but you get through it.
Brian and Jen, where do you... Oh, sorry.
Oh, there's going to be setbacks. Expect setbacks. They're going to give you a calendar of
It's a roller coaster.
it's how to go through it, and like what's going to happen on tentatively what dates. There's going to be setbacks for everything, every step along the way, so don't get your heart set on a transfer date. It's not going to happen. It's going to be months after that. So that's just, I mean, expect it.
Ideal family vacation?
With the kids,
From I'm Little Red.
renting out like a big house on a lake or a beach.
I was going to say on a lake. We already live on a lake.
Well, in a different part of the country, where there's like trails to go hiking and all kinds of outdoor activities to do.
Sorry, fire.
That would be a lot of outdoor activities.
Yes, hiking. Colorado, probably. Brian and Jen, where do you see your family in 5 years? Are you a planner? Yes, she plans everything. We're going to still be here in 5 years.
And I see us having another kid by then.
Macy
We'll still be here at the lake, but we'll have our own house built next door.
wants to know if you're going to go back to full time. Yes, she's going back full time someday. Someday.
Maybe when all the kids are in school, I'll be back full time.
We need more money.
Okay.
Miles, I feel like being a dad is the awesomest thing ever.
The awesomest thing ever.
And it's
Not being a husband.
It hasn't been hard being a Bears fan living here, even though everybody else is Chiefs.
He is in his Chiefs clothes every Sunday. He actually changed out of a Chiefs shirt to put on a Chicago Cubs shirt.
Haley asked if we'll travel back to South Carolina to do the transfer, if we'll do it here in Kansas.
Travel.
Tina, have you guys...
I don't want to transfer the embryos. I just feel like it's too risky and we can just go there.
Tina asked if we sold our house.
No.
Our house is still on the market.
If you know anyone that wants a house in Beaufort, South Carolina, we should be using my sad lamp.
Carrie asked, how do you keep your marriage strong and keep faith in your home? It's really easy. to keep faith in the home.
You're also United Methodist.
Yeah.
Cool.
Woohoo.
My mom is super duper strong in her faith.
There's literally a Bible on every table.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's hard. We pray with the kids. I pray with them before every nap and before bed, but we have our prayer that we say to them before bed every night, and we read a lot of Christian-based books and like devotionals for kids for bedtime. This is Rio. Keep our marriage strong. We need to work on that more. We have a little notebook that we write love letters to each other in, and so we kind of randomly will write a love note. But it's usually like when we really need to be writing each other a love note. We need to be more like proactive about keeping things strong.
What are the plans if your house doesn't sell?
I have no idea.
It's going to sell.
Okay. I thought maybe we could start considering the idea of renting it out long term. So I don't know if you guys have done that from distance and it worked out well, let me know, but it's hard when you're far away.
Adolf Girls, what has been the hardest part about living with your parents?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Would you guys ever adopt?
Yes.
Mama got Asana. What's the easiest, enjoyable, hardest experience of parenting so far?
Easiest, most enjoyable, and hardest. Easiest, most enjoyable is like figuring out what makes them smile or laugh and doing that. That's probably the most enjoyable thing for me. Like figuring out what each of them like and providing it.
Yeah. I enjoy just watching them play. Like, since they're both crawling, they're just exploring everything and putting everything into their mouth. It's
learning and tipping over on things but not being upset, and like learning how to pick up food with their fingers. I love watching them figure out stuff.
Oh my gosh. Laura K., what do you experience the most parent guilt about? When one's crying and you go to the other one?
Yeah, that's hard.
Probably just not having enough solo time with each of them yet.
Yeah. I have like this idea in my head that we will soon, when they're old enough to appreciate it, we'll take one of them for the day and let my parents or a babysitter watch the other one and do them, one-on-one days with them. That will make, hopefully, that guilt go away about not being there for each of them.
Gina's from Canada says that it's illegal to know the sex of your embryos, but here in the United States it's legal. You can find out. Would we? No.
Mm-mm. I don't have a preference on our next baby.
Will you ever come to England?
Yes. We're going to wait to bring the babies on a big time change trip until they're a lot older and they can adjust a little easier. Favorite date night? Pre-kids?
Pre-kids? Movie.
Concert? Well, yeah,
concert, movie.
We would go to the movies like weekly before kids. There's a lot of Sundays that we're like, if we didn't have kids, we would be going to a movie right now. But concerts, pre and post.
Sadie, do you still have your nanny? Yes, we have a nanny.
She's awesome.
She comes on Mondays and Fridays.
She's really, really awesome. They love her.
Shout
out to Sarah Love to us.
Sarah's daughter's in optometry.
In her last year.
Woohoo!
Good luck on boards.
Exam. Any tips? Get a partner to study with.
Yep. No. Oh, the KMK course. If she already doesn't know about the KMK course, but you have to do it.
Robin, if you ever travel internationally with the babies, where would you go and how old would you prefer them to be?
Older.
I think we'll start at 5.
Internationally?
Yeah. I was gonna
Time
say
change
5
difference?
years old.
We'll see. I don't know
When do they stop napping in the day?
Like when they're 3 or 4.
Yeah, so 5 years old.
Okay.
And yes, we're going to do a lot of international travel.
Definitely mission trips and things like that.
Do you financially help your parents at all?
No.
I mean...
Financially help them?
Yeah, since we're living here.
Oh, like contribute?
Like, we paid some of the...
Utilities.
We own a boat together.
Okay, so this is my dad. We tried to pay him for we had paid for half of the utility bill the first month that we were here. And instead of depositing the check, he cashed it and used it, or wanted us to use it in Vegas to gamble. Like, my dad, he's just a very generous man, and I think they genuinely enjoy having us here.
So, not really.
No.
Oh,
Thank goodness.
Oh, nuffin' puffin. It's hard to admit,
Oh,
but
she comments a lot.
It's hard to admit, but my husband and I have never argued as much as we have since the twins have been born. Lack of sleep is horrible. It's not something you'd show on YouTube, of course, but has it been harder in your marriage? Yes.
Definitely.
It's really easy to understand why parents of multiples have a high divorce rate.
Wow.
You don't think so? We literally never argued before the babies.
We never argued.
I can't even remember an argument that we
No.
had pre-babies.
Like we maybe got into a disagreement like 2 or 3 times, but we're both very level-headed and talk things out very well. Now and it's not been bad. I bet we're way below average of even couples that don't have kids.
I hope so. I mean, we don't argue that much.
No, but it's definitely more than normal. Like we just had an argument this morning.
Yeah.
And where does it center around? Like
Lack of sleep.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Sleeping.
It's the worst when I've had a really rough night of sleep. But it's usually about things that, like, I'm with the kids a lot more, so I know a routine like the back of my hand. I don't have to think about it. And like arguments would center around you doing something wrong with the kids, which in the grand scheme of things, it's not ever anything that's a big deal.
Updated height and weight.
They weigh 17 and 20 pounds.
So they're still 3 pounds apart.
Yep.
Their 9-month appointment's actually coming up soon, so we'll
Not
get their
sure on
heights
height.
then. Your thoughts on the flu shot. We're not going to talk about shots. We're not going to talk about vaccines. It's your own child.
It's a very personal
Yeah.
preference for a parent,
So we're not-
and that's just something we're not comfortable sharing our opinion on.
No. Do you plan to send your children to school?
Or
Chasing
homeschool.
Charlie.
I'm not sure.
I'd say definitely sending them to school.
I'm not sure.
Kim, would you ever consider renting out your South Carolina home? Yeah.
Yeah. The name of the double stroller is the City Select.
And it's awesome. It's really expensive.
Super. It's like the Cadillac of strollers.
It's expensive. It's like $650.
It's really awesome. Handle bedtimes when one's asleep and the other's crying. I know it's not the same. We
That's
separate
Ash Love.
them.
Yeah, so
They're in separate rooms. We started separating them when they were about 4 or 5 months. When I had a feeling Lyndall was ready to sleep through the night, I started separating them. And we separated them even prior to that for naps, because naps are just much more difficult to... It's just the sleep pressure's lower, so they have a harder time staying asleep. So
I'm sorry. So if you hear any rumbling in the
we're
background,
having a little...
it's
like-
a little WWF
Yeah.
or
cat
WWE now,
smackdown.
I guess.
So yeah, we've separated them for quite some time. They're still not consistently sleeping through the night without having some type of wake up or early wake up or something. So as long as we can separate them, it would just bring my anxiety level down a lot having them separate, because it's much easier to deal with one baby at night than it is to deal with 2.
Our stand is becoming floppy.
His stand is becoming floppy.
Aaron, you are my favorite YouTube couple. Yay! I'm surprised how often we get that.
You guys are so
Yeah,
sweet.
you guys are sweet. Would you do more food/cooking segments?
Coming
Yes.
up Monday.
If you didn't know, HelloFresh sponsors some of our videos, so that'll be coming up next week sometime.
I should talk about the baby food I make more. And we're definitely switching more into baby-led weaning now, where they physically pick up their food and they're just eating what we eat in small pieces. And they love it.
Jay Bruner, would you be willing to do a video about how you got through the Dave Ramsey baby steps?
Yeah.
We're still technically on baby step 2 until we sell our house.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah. I guess that's true.
yeah, so it wouldn't be much of a video.
How we got
If
through
you haven't
them.
heard of Dave Ramsey,
Well, we
check him out.
We did a pretty decent snowball right at the beginning, and all we have left is my student loan. So
Just a really, really small chunk of
and
a
it's
really, really
a
huge
small
chunk.
chunk of a huge loan. So
Small chunk of a huge chunk.
Iris was just doing this on Rio's head.
Julia, when did you start separating the twins for naps? As soon as we possibly could.
Yeah.
Did it make a difference?
It made a
Yes.
huge difference. Huge.
Everybody says that the one twin won't wake the other up, but
They definitely
we
did
definitely
in
found
our
that
case.
that is not the case for us.
Even if they would have learned to sleep through it, I wasn't willing to deal with all of the nights that it took for that to happen.
JSTRLV. How do you make time for yourself and for each other? Nap time. They sleep for 2 hours. They
Yeah.
nap for 2 hours.
And that doesn't start becoming the case until after 6 months. So
Yeah. So like the first 6 months, I mean,
you just can't.
It's just It's hard.
Just don't plan on spending time with each other before 6 months.
Seriously.
If you have twins, honestly.
I mean, get a babysitter.
Yeah, you can get a
But
babysitter.
we didn't.
No.
I mean, we just didn't trust anybody. And
Well, my mom would watch them.
well, yeah.
But we felt bad.
Yeah,
and
but her mom was around all the time, so
Yeah.
it would feel bad. Like,
Taking
hey, can
advantage
you take
of
the
her.
kids tonight?
Yeah.
Since, I mean, you've been with them all day.
Yeah.
How was the recovery from your C-section?
Surprisingly straightforward. I didn't have many issues at all. I probably was getting after it sooner than I should have.
How did you handle settling in to life into a new state? Seeing how close you are with your parents, that was...
This state or South Carolina state?
No, for when we moved to South Carolina.
It was hard. It was really, really hard. I would like count the days until it was time to see my parents again. And it was, I think the longest we went without seeing them was like 3 months, and that was really hard.
Christine, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about each other? My favorite thing is to watch Rachel play with the babies.
Really?
My least favorite thing about Rachel... I don't have anything.
Oh, stop it. You have to say something.
My least favorite thing about Rachel... there's just so many.